Namaste and good evening to everyone. Yeah.
Namaste. Good evening. Sunil Bhai, should we start?
Yeah, we may request some of the participants to give their sharings first of all before we start actually.
Yes. So, good evening. Namaste to all the participants who have joined this weekly follow-up student induction program meeting. A very warm welcome to all of you. So, we will open this discussion with the sharing from the participants who have joined with us. There is already a hand raised. Diksha would like to say something. Diksha Jagota wants to share something. Can you please unmute your... Diksha, you can unmute and please go ahead with your... Okay, she has now. She doesn't want to say anything.
All right. Any other co-explorer, say student co-explorer who was there in the previous meeting, would like to share what was the content which we have discussed in the previous meeting, or any sharing which they have in the through self-exploration of the previous week, they can place it over here. After verifying the proposals which we have been discussing in this follow-up meeting, or in the students workshop which you would have attended earlier the previous month, you can place your sharing after when you're going through the self-exploration. You can spend some time for that. If you can raise your hand, the mic can be given to you. We are not sure how many students have joined because the names does not reflect whether the participant is a student or a teacher. There may be several teachers also joined along with the students. It is good.
So I think we can also invite the teachers if they want to also put some sharing. You are welcome to do so.
Sure. Yeah. Any participant who was there in the previous Wednesday's meeting can share what was the content which we have been discussing in the previous Wednesday's meeting and the exploration with regard to that. I'm sure the exercise of session number 4 would have been discussed in the previous Wednesday's meeting by Yashwant Bhaiya. And some of you would have shared also in that meeting with regard to your involvement in doing that assignment of session number 4. And thereafter, this session number 5 would have started on peer pressure. So I just taken the slide, the facing sheet, the facing side of that, that's all. But the discussion can be upon any of the proposals which we have discussed so far from session 1 to session 5.
And your sharing will be very valuable because, you know, it will throw up a lot of important learnings for all of us, because this is a very important input that the students are getting, and we as teachers and faculty members, you know, it will be a very big learning for all of us to know what you're thinking about this. So please share your views with us. Yes, this somebody is.
Yeah, okay. So we shall just give a recap of what was being discussed in the previous day's meeting, and then let them, whenever they feel like, let them share. Okay.
Sure.
So the basic human aspiration has been discussed as the lecture number 2 or session number 2 in this follow-up meetings, which is also part of the students induction program. The basic human aspirations are happiness and prosperity in their continuity. Now, how to fulfill the basic human aspiration is what has been discussed in session number 3. We discussed about the 3 parameters: right understanding, right relationship, and physical facility. But in our current status, in our present scenario, most of us would be running towards the physical facilities. But we have seen as proposals in that particular session that if the physical facilities are rightly acquired through right understanding, that leads to mutual prosperity with the rest of the nature. But human beings require more than that. That is also something which we have seen. So that more which is required by the human being is identified as feelings. Feelings in relationship. So right relationship with feelings, if that is ensured through right understanding, behavior with the other human beings will lead to mutual happiness. This is the content of discussion in the 3rd session of UHV 1. And we have also discussed with regard to the transformation of every human being from animal consciousness to human consciousness. Animals are largely satisfied if they have enough physical facilities like food, shelter, etc. When we speak about human consciousness, because humans need more than that, like relationship, to be happy, to be prosperous, and the feelings in the self are to be assured with right understanding. So human beings who are with animal consciousness, like only with physical facilities, there is a kind of a trouble with the kind of human beings, because all the human beings have the potential to know, or potential for knowing, and for self evolution. We will go for this education sanskar program, and which ensures our right understanding and further right feeling in the self. So this is what we refer, say broadly, as the human consciousness: right understanding, right feeling, and physical facilities in that priority order, ensuring mutual happiness and mutual prosperity. Then we have discussed about in the session number 4, what is this right understanding at the individual level. So happiness is harmony, to be in harmony, in a state of harmony. And we gradually discuss about harmony at all the 4 levels of being: individual level, family, society, and nature and existence. So in session number 4, we discussed about the individual, the harmony at the level of individual, the human being as a coexistence of self and body. What are the needs of the self? What are the needs of the body? So we have discussed that the needs of the self are continuous, like happiness, respect, etc. The needs of the body are intermittent, or they are temporary. The needs of the self are fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling. The needs of the body are fulfilled by physiochemical things. This is something which we have discussed in the 4th session. The responses of the self and the body are also discussed briefly. The potential of every human being to know things, and assumption with knowledge, assuming with knowing, that potential is there in the human being. So identifying that potential is what we have to focus upon or concentrate upon in this human consciousness, in our self evolution. So that part has been discussed in session number 4. Then we discussed about our desires, our aspirations, concerns, etc. essentially the content of this SIP, the Students Induction Program, UHV part of Students Induction Program is to bring out the concerns of the students, their fears, their aspirations, etc., their desires, etc., and how to resolve their concerns, etc., through the proposals of this universal human values. This is the major theme in this, or major aim of this particular universal human value 1, which is offered to the students in the SIP, Students Induction Program. Now we can see that the colleges are going to welcome the new aspirants in the last week of September and during October also. So mostly during October, in almost all the colleges in the country, like AICTE colleges in the country, the new students are going to come, and this SIP is going to be offered. So students who are coming after their schooling will be with a lot of apprehensions. They will be having a lot of expectations from a new institution, which is in a new place, mostly. And this transformation from the school phase was to a kind of a school phase to a new institution has to be very smooth. This smooth transition from school to the college is ensured through a 21 days students induction program, which is offered in the colleges. There are 9 modules in this SIP, and the first module in that is the universal human values. So the sessions which we are discussing over here are the sessions which is actually conducted as part of this universal human value program in the SIP. There are 13 sessions with 13 lectures, I would say, in the UHV 1 part. With the session 1, self-introduction of the participants, the teachers and the students. From session 2 onwards, as we discussed, the basic human aspirations and their fulfillment will be discussed. Slowly, we go into harmony at the level of the individual, harmony at the level of the family, and there we discuss about the relationships and the feelings in the relationships. And then we slowly go into the harmony in the society and harmony in the nature. In between, we discuss about the health part also, health and prosperity part. After the discussion on the natural environment or the harmony in the nature, there is a sum-up session, that is session number 14. And thereafter, we will take the self-evaluation from the students. So in between, every day, we may be giving, say, 1 lecture. Maybe from the second day onwards, we can take sharing from the student, how the students are exploring with regard to the proposals which we have in the previous day. Right. So this is roughly the proposal for rather how you conduct the UHV 1 part in the SIP, and the other 8 modules will be discussed in detail, maybe in another say meeting. All right. So this is because the colleges are going to welcome the new aspirants. I just went into the discussion on SIP. Now we will come back to our discussion on peer pressure. So this is something which we have started in the previous Wednesday's meeting. So what I'm not sure how much have been discussed in this, but I will go through the first few slides very quickly, just like a recap. You can also say if something is not discussed in detail, we will stop there, just see through your questions, and if some response are required, we will discuss that. All right. Nice. So this is one of the major discussion which we have to have with the students. If there are some students, say, who are available here and who would like to speak, they can say, what is peer pressure? Did they, the students who are now available here, would have undergone at least 1 year of course in their program, at least 1 year, right? They would have undergone SIP also. Sometimes they would have not undergone, that's also okay. But when they come to a new institution, what is termed as peer pressure would have been faced by, or would have been experienced by some of them. they can share their experience here. What is peer pressure? For example, suppose you go to a new place. I'm just giving an example only. When you come back from the new place to your home, let's say, after some time, let's say you spend some 1 month at a new place. It can be, let's say, a foreign country. It can be another place, which is something very new to you. I'm not saying an institution, but a new place only. When you come back, there is a particular tendency that we speak in the language of that particular place. Maybe a different language, or maybe the same language with a different accent. I'm telling this example because this happened with me also. When I go to a new place and when I come back to my home, I tend to speak in the accent of that what I had in the other place, at least for some time. So this is what I just roughly say as an example for peer pressure. This is not full peer pressure, but this is an example. Because I feel that what the other people say in the other place is good. And if I speak in that language, speak in that accent, I may be respected. So these kind of notions go within me. So I would like to mimic, or rather adapt their kind of tune or their kind of language just for me also, thinking that that is good for me. Only a small example. What happens when students join an institution? What happens when you go to a hostel? There is a certain kind of culture, let's say, or sanskar, which is there in the hostel. Sometimes sanskar may be good, sometimes it may not be good. Right. In the SIP part, we familiarize with the institution also. But when you are staying with a group of students, maybe in the hostel, the students may tend to fall into some kind of Digvijay G is typing, some of my friends started smoking due to peer pressure. Yeah, true. This is what I was just trying to refer. So some kind of activities, some kind of behavior, change in behavior like this. Students who join a program initially, they may not be smokers, they may not be taking alcohol also, they may not be using foul languages. But you can see when they are in the second year, third year, fourth year of the program, that behavior changes, totally changes. Those who have excelled in their studies for their +2 or for their school final, you can see that some of them are going very much down with regard to their studies. This also may be a result of peer pressure. So the kind of activities like going with, say, smoking, consuming alcohol, or using foul languages, using some other language, using some particular kind of clothes, all these are due to peer pressure. Thinking that this is going to give them some kind of respect. So this is what we have been discussing in the previous session. And if you have some sharing with regard to this is what I have just thrown is some kind of concerns. So we're going to discuss how to come out of that also, right? What is a possible solution to come out of the peer pressure? This also has to be discussed in today's meeting. So if you have some sharing with your side, from your side, you can just place it over here. Digvijay ji, would you like to speak something? Your message in the chat box is very good. That is one of the concerns which we have to discuss in detail. Okay, all right. Yeah, so this is a review of what we have discussed in the previous session. Continuous happiness is sought from the feelings from others. Do we do this? Rather than looking within, we seek for these feelings from others.
Bhaiya, Digvijay says he will in a minute.
Yeah, nice. Okay, he can raise his hand, so we will provide mic to him. Nice. Very good. So other students also, yeah, Digvijay, he has been given mic already, I suppose. Mic is available with him, so he can, anytime he can unmute and start speaking. That's fine. All right. So do we look to the other or resort to the other for this right feelings, for continuous happiness? Does it happen with you? Just like attention from the others. Sometimes with family members itself, sometimes with friends, new friends.
Digvijay Bhaiya, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, you can speak, Digvijay ji. Mic is given to you already. You can unmute from your side. We cannot do that. Yeah, nice. Very good. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Digvijay.
So the thing is, peer pressure actually, sir, it is within us actually. If we let others decide what we want, or this sense of belonging that we see right now, so this is within us. If we learn to control that and we develop the right understanding, then we can come out from peer pressure.
Nice. Very good. So, yeah.
My friends, sir, what I wrote in the chat box, that is very true, sir. My hostel friends, most of them have started smoking due to peer pressure. They think it is cool.
Nice. I can give an example. You see, in my college, I come across some sports students who are very good at sports. In their first year, they were very good sports persons. So they were there in the college team also, say part of this shuttle badminton, part of football, part of the cricket team, etc. Basketball team. But some of them, as you said right now, started the kind of smoking or drinking alcohol. So what happened is when it comes to some kind of say a tournaments in the university or inter-university, and when they're asked for say being part of the team, say play the game, what they found out is that they could not continuously play for some time. Their stamina goes down because of this. It's only just one aspect I'm telling, because of the smoking or the kind of say alcohol drinking, etc. Their health is going down, and when they recognize that this is going down, they try to come out of this. But it was difficult to come out of that. It took some time for them to come out of this. It's only
Yes,
one
sir.
example. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And because of this, the need of sense of belonging, sir, what we do is sometimes, sir, most of the students, they are not economically, they are financially, they're not very rich, and everyone has their situations. And what happens due to peer pressure is they just, sir, they try to get the standards raised because of that peer pressure.
Right,
and what they do is they just want to go with the flow, and they do not think about their financial situation.
So what they do, they borrow from others, yeah, for money, right?
Yes,
they may
sir.
do some kind of activities for money also, right? This also is true, right?
Very unhappy situation, no? Very unhappy.
So how to come out of this? As Digvijay ji is telling, this is he is telling that this is within you. The peer pressure is within you, and with right understanding, you can come out of this. Let us see what are the proposals which we have over here. Okay. So this is, as Digvijay ji is telling, this is to get attention from the others, to be noticed among the friends, seeing that, or rather just assuming that something is true without actual knowledge. People go behind these kind of activities. They fall into peer pressure. So we seem to have deep desire to belong. We want to be accepted and respected by our peers. Well, when we say peers, these are people who may be of our same age, or thinking rather in the same line, maybe studying with us. We can call them as peers for the time being. Maybe your seniors also are like peers who are contemporary, who are studying at the same time. So when we fall into such kind of things, say peer pressure, due to peer pressure, just for the sake of getting attention among the friends, and just to get accepted or respected by the others, what is happening is we are forgetting about our main theme. Like, yeah.
Bhaiya, Uma also wants to say something.
Ji. Didi, did you provide mic to the person who wants to speak something? Or?
I can't see her now, Bhaiya.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so this particular thing has been explored in the previous session, and now we continue with this. Let us categorize this into two, say, sections like concerns and yeah. So the concerns are like, as we have discussed, we want to be accepted by the others. We think that we will be accepted when we are like them or better than them in how we look, how we dress. Yeah, B. Teja Kumar. Yes, raise his hand. Now the hand is not seen. Yeah, I would like to request the students and the teachers also. You can. This is a session in which we are not going to cover any content in full. The purpose of this meeting is to have clarity upon the content. We do it bit by bit. There is no time frame with which we have to finish the content, so we will continue whatever is left out in the next meeting. So this is your platform in which you can speak out. You can share your thoughts. You can share your takeaways. Right. So you are most encouraged to come on as well as speak from your side, because your exploration, as Digvijay was telling, it is enriching the content. You have to say Digvijay was telling about a concern. Now you have to say what is the solution for that, or a possible proposal, so that you can find out your own solution for that. That is what we are going to seek in this particular session. So you can feel free to speak in this session, or if you feel like, you can type in the chat box also. We can read your messages. Nice, thank you. So when we want to be accepted by the others, we think sometimes if you wear some kind of dresses which are being worn by other people, maybe like torn jeans, for example, because it is considered as fashion in particular time, or kind of low waist say pants, for example, or other kind of clothes which are considered to be kind of fashion. So what people do is they purchase this costly kind of jeans or kind of cloth items from the market, and they alter this jeans or the clothes to some other fashion, so as to suit the particular fashion which is prevailing at that time. So that they think that when they wear such kind of things, people will notice them. They will be accepted by the others. So in how we look, how we dress, how we talk, sometimes the students who speak English may be noticed. So thinking that this language is giving some importance to us or to the students, we speak in English, try to speak in English. Right. So what we eat, sometimes the kind of food which is being eaten by others, if we think that is going to give us some kind of importance, some kind of acceptance, we start eating that kind of food. Right. The food habits also would possibly change like that. Even if you do not like some kind of food, we try to attempt the kind of food. And drinking habits. Sometimes we may not be drinking some kind of say soft drinks, but thinking that the people who are drinking this kind of soft drinks are respected or accepted in the particular society over there, maybe in the hostel, start drinking this kind of drinks, let's say. So there is a peer pressure to be like them or better in appearance, clothes, language, and expression. This is part of peer pressure. We're not telling that this is the entire content of peer pressure. There are several other things also. Even we are also part, the teachers are also part of peer pressure, I would say. When my colleague is purchasing a new car, let's say, I also feel like my car is a smaller one. So I feel like peer pressure, and I tend to purchase another one which is better than, rather, which is bigger than that of him or her. This also is peer pressure. When my colleague is going to build a new house, rather when he is extending his house to a bigger one, I feel like peer pressure. I feel like, okay, so he's having a bigger house. Now I am a professor or associate professor or a department head, somebody like that. I need, and the other person is just an assistant professor, but he's having a bigger house than me. I will succumb to peer pressure and I will tend to construct a new house, or I tend to attach a few more rooms to my house and few more facilities may be brought to my house so that it looks better than the other one, without actually looking into the purpose of what I am doing. So even the other is also, so when we do the same thing, these kind of activities, we have to see that the other is also in the same state, asking for being accepted by you. Because every human being is similar in terms of the purpose, program, and potential. In terms of potential, let's say, every human being is same. But how much of the potential is being utilized by the human being to his competence is what matters. So when we succumb to peer pressure, we never see our potential. We never see the purpose of what we are doing. When we wear a certain kind of a clothes, we never see the purpose of that. So, okay, we discuss about that in detail later. So what is being done by the students when they succumb to or when they fall into the peer pressure? Copying is one of them. Can you see that? Students tend to copy others. We give into peer pressure. As I have given the example of adapting a language of a particular place when we go to, let's say, when we go abroad, when we go to the USA, for example, or when we go to some other place abroad, and we stay there for some time and come back. We tend to copy the language. We tend to speak in that language, in that accent. I have one of my beloved teachers who tend to speak in Oxford English. But is the language important, or is what is communicated important? What do you think? Is the idea which is being conveyed important, or is the language important? You can use a chat box also, okay? You can use a chat box and you can place your comments in chat box too. We can read that. Nice. So in copying, we copy their do's and don'ts, appearance, language, lifestyle, etc. Communication. Ushaji is typing communication. Nice. So what is communicated is important, right? The idea which is communicated. Even, yeah, Vijay Kumarji, would like to speak something? Share something?
Yes. I'm professor from Suguna College of Engineering, Coimbatore.
Yeah.
Just after some time, I'm getting a UHV. This peer pressure, first I couldn't immediately understand that meaning, but after some time, I'm getting known that how I could have the peer pressure and how the students having the peer pressure. What makes us the peer pressure, first thing is it creates inferiority complex. Because of that, they stop speaking with us. This pressure, they couldn't adapt this pressure. So they are lacking in studies, they are lacking their activities, and they're step by step there. First year they are getting good marks and everything. Second year, due to peer pressure, they don't compare to the nearest students because of they might be poor or they are not lacking something like that. So then there are two things I think, sir. One thing is we make counseling. Then another is make them to explore them to how to overcome this peer pressure, there are two things we can do. First thing, they don't know how to explore themselves. So first thing, counseling them is normal. Everybody have the same situation. Everybody is coming as a poor, then they are becoming rich. Then only they have all the things. Like that, we have to give some counseling. Then explore them. What she really need. Okay, everybody will accept them. Accepting everything, accepting by the staff members and everybody, then encouraging the students, that will overcome that peer pressure, I think, sir.
Gee, nice, nice, sir. Very good. So the teachers have a major role in this, right, sir? The teachers, we teachers have a major role in helping the students to come out of the peer pressure. Right. As you said,
Thank you very much,
counseling. Yeah, thank you. Nice, sir. Thank you for the sharing.
Usha ji is also sharing, is saying that communication is very important.
Yeah, yeah. So what is communicated is important than the language. That is what Usha ji is telling, I suppose so. Nice. So thanks for the sharing by Vijay Kumar Paya. So copying is how the students go about this, as we discussed just now. So we copy the do's and don'ts, appearance, language, lifestyle, etc. We let the others decide for us. We give the remote control with the others so that they can decide for us. Though we may or may not be comfortable with their choice. Even if, like in the case of, say, some kind of food items, even if we are not of that liking, we tend to eat the kind of food. I won't say which kind of food, but something which is not of our liking, because we fall into peer pressure, thinking that this is being accepted here. We keep accepting wrong notions based on preconditioning, because we don't have the practice, self-confidence of verifying things, notions on our own right. As Bhaiya was telling right now, students go into, sometimes they go into inferiority complex. They go into depression. If they do not succumb to it, they do not go by the peer pressure, sometimes they go by this inferiority complex, because they try to find out the happiness outside. The basic aspiration is happiness. If they try to seek happiness through feelings from others or from outside, this can happen. So the ways in which the students try to overcome this is copying, right, as we discussed just now, or it can be arbitrariness, rebel kind of behavior. Can you see this also? That the students behave like a very kind of indifferent way. Sometimes they cause some trouble to the teachers. Sometimes for getting attention, they break something, maybe in the hostel or in the college. Some physical thing can be broken just to get attention. This can happen. Or indulge in speaking in very loud voice without getting noticed from among the groups. If somebody is speaking in a loud voice, sometimes he is getting some kind of attention by the other students. This can be an arbitrary behavior. Drinking alcohol is also can be like an arbitrary behavior, thinking that the behavior by such persons is accepted in some societies. Plenty of things we can say. Yeah. Yeah. Teja Kumarji is typing in the chat box. Teja Kumar. He is from Siddharth Institute of Engineering and Technology. I want to share a today happened situation. So it is good if you can speak, Teja Kumarji. Typing this long statement, it is good. Rather than that, if you can share by yourself, it is nice. Even then, I can just read this incompleteness.
I will read it by here.
Ji, please.
So what Teja says is, one second, I'll just read. It's very, very important what he's saying.
Yeah.
Teja says, I want to share today. I am sitting in a chair, but unfortunately fell down. Then all my classmates and friends are laughing by seeing me. But I felt very sad for the laughter. So, sir, tell me, how can I take the situation? Teja, it's so important what you have shared. Bhaiya, I think if you can kindly
Yeah.
give your
Okay. Okay. Teja, you are sitting in a chair and you are falling down and they're laughing at you. Right. And when they laugh at you, what is your feeling? Can you evaluate your feeling? This is very important. When some situations, maybe like this or some other, happens, what is my feeling is most important. It is not what is others feeling. So others are laughing because of some kind of feeling which they have. Okay, let it be. What is your feeling? As you said towards the end of your comment, you feel very sad, right? Right. But now we can see. Yeah. Is there some other comment?
He says, Teja says he feels
Shy
shy
and
and sad.
Okay. So when you feel shy and sad, what is the reason for this? What is the actual reason for this?
Teja, can you unmute yourself and speak to Bhaiya? You will feel
Good evening, sir.
very good.
Gee, nice. Good evening, Teja.
Sir, this is a today happened situation.
Hmm.
In my lab, unfortunately, I fall down because of my friends only laughed at me, feeling very sad to me.
Yeah.
Then how I can take this situation, sir? In positive manner,
Yeah, you can see that it is just an accident, right? When you fell
Yes, sir.
down, it is just an accident. And this can happen to anybody. It is not because of your fault that you're falling down. And say, while the others are laughing, while others are like mimicking you, it is not going to affect you, does it? Unless you take it into yourself. Unless you take it as part of your feeling, say some wrong feeling, it is not going to affect you. You can think it that way. So that's why I was telling what is the feeling which is going on in you. If it is sadness, you are trying to get the right feeling from outside, I would say. We can see when such kind of incidents happen, whether we are seeking the right kind of feelings from outside or not. But when we say happiness, the happiness is there within us. If you try to get happiness from external sources, like the feelings from your friends also, or like from some physical facilities outside, this will not sustain for long. Can you see that? Suppose some of your friends is going to give you a gift. How long will it sustain? How long will the happiness due to that gift sustain? Maybe for a few days or a short duration of time. Can you see it? The feeling of happiness or the feeling of some good feeling because of that particular gift. It sustains only for a short duration of time. Can you see that? Similarly, what happened today, maybe it is just there. As far as they are concerned, it is a situation in which they have seen you falling down. They just laugh. That's all. But they would have forgotten about this for sure. Now, if you ask any one of them, they would not be remembering the situation. Or maybe after a small period of time, they will forget about this. Right. As far as they are concerned, their feeling goes in that line. But now, if you feel something bad, you can just forget about this because this is something which is not happening because of your will. And this can happen to anybody also. So this is just, you can just consider this as a kind of a joke. That's all. Nothing is going to happen to you for sure.
Yes. So Teja, what Sunil Bhai is trying to tell you is this situation has happened. That's for real. But and you fell down and they laughed. That is also you have seen. But what he's trying to, I think, tell you is how you take that laughter, how you take their thing is something that is important. I think that's what he's focusing on. You don't have to kind of give so much importance to their reaction. I think that's what he's trying to tell you.
In the meanwhile, Shashi Vardhanji is typing for others' happiness, sacrificing our happiness. Isn't it correct or not? No? I would say it is no. Our happiness is ours. And let the happiness is within us. What we say happiness is harmony in individual level and all the other 3 higher levels. So if you can see that you are in harmony, even if there is perturbance from outside, even if there is some happenings from outside, then you can continue, you can maintain that happiness. But if you seek happiness from others, then as you are pointing out to the chat box, like sacrificing your happiness for others is also may happen. This also may happen. But there is nothing like sacrificing.
I think it's right understanding, no, Bhaiya?
This is right understanding. Yeah, if you have right understanding, that means harmony at all the 4 levels. If you can see that, then happiness is within you, and we are not getting any kind of happiness from any excitement, like physical facilities or even feelings from others. We can look within, and we can look within the feeling of ourselves, my feeling. Nice.
I think there is another chat. Manjusha ji says, any hurt. Can you extend your sentence, Manjusha ji? What do you mean by saying any hurt? Anything you want to convey to us?
Actually, the hurt can be the self hurt or a physical hurt. If that self is hurt, then you have to resolve it. And physical hurt has happened, then your friends or the teacher will come and help you.
Okay, with regard to
if it is not there, you can take it in an easy manner.
Yes.
If the self is hurt, then you should to be very careful, and you should sort it because in next time also it may happen. But if you want that you have to resolve it. That I want to add.
Right. Nice, Didi. Thank you. Right. Yeah. So these are 2 ways by which the students are taking this peer pressure, either copying or by arbitrary behavior, rebel behavior. But what is a resolution of this? Is there a way out of this peer pressure? Some of our co-explorers are telling about some of the resolutions. Let us see what proposal we have with us. All of us have this potential to rightly understand things, right? So we can keep it as a 3rd option, verifying things on your own right. As Bhaiya was telling just now, Teja Kumar is telling right now, you can verify what happened, the incident which happened with your own right. In when we evaluate the other persons, we are not going to evaluate the persons based on incidents, but we evaluate the persons based on their competence. So we discuss about that in the relationship part later. So this potential is there in every human being to rightly understand things, to verify things on our own right and on the basis of your natural acceptance, which is same for every person, irrespective of time, irrespective of place. So this incident also we can just verify on the basis of natural acceptance. You can say if another person is falling down from the chair, what is happening to him? Right, as Didi was telling just now, Manjusha Didi was telling, is it going to hurt yourself or body? Well, sometimes when you fall down from a chair, your body can also be hurt. This has to be taken care of, right? Protection of the body is, yeah. Teja Kumar, would you like to speak something? You are muted.
Yes, G, I want to ask another question also.
G.
Sorry, some of my friends are laughed at me, okay, that incident, that situation. But some of my friends are not laughed. How can I continue that relationship with the laughed persons or not laughed person?
Yeah, what is your feeling towards the laughed persons and those who did not laugh before you fall down?
They all are my friends only, sir. I'm feeling all are equal only.
Very good. Your friends only. Very nice. So because
Yes,
of laughing, that happened because of their immediate feeling at that time.
yes, correct.
Does it is it because of their intention or is it because of their competence? What do you say? They intentionally laughed or they because they lack in competence, they laughed?
Sir?
What do you think? Did they laugh intentionally or otherwise?
They intentionally laughed, sir.
You can verify this. You can explore and verify this. So whenever somebody falls down, we tend to laugh. That is our natural instinct. It is not because we try to mimic the other or we try to let the other person down, but it happens automatically. It is not intentional. You can just verify this. But some other person did not laugh. Maybe they were trying to see that when you fall down, if something happens to you, like some injury is happening to you, but they could help. They may be thinking that way also. But you can just verify whether the other persons laughed because of intention, lack of intention, or lack of competence. Well, I would request you to continue attending this program, this Wednesday sessions, because sooner than later we are going to discuss about this intention and competence. Okay, so once we discuss about that, maybe this feelings part will be much more clear. And then we can take up the question again and we have another analysis of this.
Yes, sir. I agree with your point, sir. But one thing I want to say again, sir.
Ji.
In that situation, my friends are there, another classmates and another section people also there in that situation happened place. They are laughing means I not feeling any shy because they are not known to me. Our classmates are laughing. Our friends only laughing means how can I trust that relationship, sir?
Okay, nice. So we can keep it open. We can explore this. Maybe even if somebody who is not belonging to your class, are they related to you or not? What do you
Are
think?
they not related to me, sir?
Yeah, we can keep it open. But so let me ask you another question. When you are walking on the road,
Yes, sir.
and somebody who is walking besides you, he's a stranger, but he tends to fall down.
Yes, sir.
Would you help him or would you let him fall down?
I definitely help him, sir.
Yeah. Why is it happening? This is kind of a reflex action, right? We tend
Yes,
to hold him, irrespective of whether he is known to me or not known to me.
Yeah.
This is happening because we have a feeling of relationship with the other person.
Yes, sir.
So when we discuss about this relationship later, maybe after a couple of meetings, we discuss about this aspect also. Okay,
sir.
whether every human being is related or we have relation to very few human beings or not. So
Okay, sir.
you can keep this question open and you can say discuss this again when we discuss about this relationships. Then only this is going to be much more clear, I suppose.
Okay, sir.
Anyway, for the time being, what we can say is you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to be to go down with what has happened. Okay, because it is not because of your intention. It happened just accidentally. So nothing
Yes,
is going to happen. You can be like whatever you have been behaving before to your friends. You can be like that only because they did not laugh at you intentionally. It happened just like that. That's all. We will keep it open and discuss in detail later also. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your valuable suggestions, sir.
Yeah. So right understanding is another way, which is a potential in every human being. So we can verify the events or we can verify the peer pressure on the basis of natural acceptance, on the basis of validating by living accordingly. So when some situation comes like wearing clothes, for example, what is the purpose of wearing clothes? We can think of that. The purpose of wearing clothes is to protect our body. So when that is the purpose, do we need to go for the kind of fashion which is existing, or do we need to go for the kind of clothes which are being worn by others in the hostel or in the college to have this attention, right? So this can be thought of through our natural acceptance. When it comes to the case of food, let's say something which is not of our taste, we can verify on the basis of natural acceptance that what is the purpose of food, what is the purpose of eating food. If you see that the purpose of eating food is to nurture the body, then whatever is nutritious for you, you can just go for that. You have a natural acceptance for the nutritious kind of food. So in this way, just by asking the question why and just trying to see the purpose of the particular activity, you can try to come out of peer pressure. Ripalim Didi, you have a sharing?
Yes, Bhaiya. Namaste.
Namaste.
That was an interesting situation where that falling down from the chair. We have this common thing that slipping on banana peels or slipping somewhere, falling down. So, here, I'm trying to look at these things that the ones who laughed at him, they just lacked the right understanding that it is an accident. It is a minor accident, so there is no injury. Had it been had there been injuries, definitely they also would have come running. But as long as nothing major happens, so that they don't take it seriously. So just the appearance of that. Like the chair and the person falling, because normally we stand erect. Just because of that, they laugh, and it is just a kind of lack of right understanding. So if I think Vijay or who was the student, I think whoever it is, like he felt bad, like he allowed himself to be disturbed, to feel sad or shy, only because someone's lack of understanding. So that maybe we can look at that. Should I allow myself to be affected only because someone could not evaluate or assess the actual situation, that it is an accident, it is none of his fault. And the second point, he said that had it been in front of strangers or other students whom he did not know, then he doesn't feel anything. Whereas if his friends, in front of his friends, he felt shy or sad, that again maybe that's expectation of certain favorable feelings from certain people, important people important for him. So that again dependence on expectation of favorable feelings. Maybe these two ways we can look at it and explore further. Yes, Bhaiya?
Nice, Didi. Nice points. Very good points. So here also, I would like to say that the right understanding of the other person would be lacking, but let us look at our feelings towards the other person.
Yes, definitely. Because intentionally they have not done. They just couldn't evaluate the situation properly. That is it. Yes. The feeling of relationship would definitely be there. Yes.
Yeah. So the feelings which I had with the other person will sustain, will continue, irrespective of this perturbance, irrespective of this happening. That is what I can see from my side. And that is my right understanding. Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is what we are telling here with regard to the resolution of the concern, the peer pressure. Our sense of belongingness is on the basis of understanding human being, then it is permanent and with all. We feel comfortable with all. So whenever such kind of situations come, peer pressure situations come, we can evaluate the situation as well as the kind of activity on the basis of our natural acceptance. And we can verify things on our own right and see the purpose as we discussed, and see the we can ask the question why, always reverse, why I am doing this, why, and if I do this, what I am going to get. If I'm going to do this kind of an activity, what is going to be my is I'm going to get any kind of right feeling in the self, or am I going to get anything for my body? You can just ask like this, like nurturing my body, is it going to affect nurturing my body, protection of my body, or right utilization of my body, or is it going to ensure the right feeling in myself? If this is naturally acceptable to you, you can go by that. Otherwise, let us try to keep away from such kind of things. So verify on your own right. Language, we can see that the language is only a means of communication, as Didi was telling earlier. So what is communicated is more important than the language. So when we say namaste to somebody, it is an expression of feeling, right? In some other language, we say some other word to express the feeling of respect to others. But both means same, right? In whichever way you express it, it is conveying the same meaning. And also, even if you do not express, that respect will be there between persons. So this language is only a means of communication. So sometimes what happens is the body language is sufficient to communicate something. It is not that you require the language always. Okay. So what is communicated is important rather than the language or expression. And speaking in a particular language ensures your respect continuously with all. You can just explore about this. Again, in the case of clothes, they are for protection of the body. So can you get respect by wearing certain type of clothes? Continuous from all, rather wearing exclusive clothes may lead sometimes to jealousy also. Okay. So let us wind up this particular point. We continue with the remaining part of the content maybe in the next session. So if there is any immediate kind of reflections or questions, we can take them up. Otherwise, we can close the session.
So, Bhaiya, should I briefly sum up?
Ji Didi, you can.
So, Sunil Bhaiya started the discussion, raising some very, very pertinent issues, like how to fulfill basic human aspirations. He talked about the right behavior with other human beings will help in mutual happiness. And he was kind of taking us through all the 4 sessions that previously happened and the highlights of that. And transforming oneself from animal consciousness to human consciousness, and explain that animal consciousness, physical facilities is sufficient. And when it comes to human consciousness, there's much more required than just physical facilities. And then right understanding at 4 levels. Sunil Bhai emphasized on all the 4 levels: individual, family, society, and nature. And then he raised the issue of why this discussion is so important of SIP, because students who come from college, they have to smoothly transition from school phase to the college phase. And that's why all these issues are very important when it comes to students feeling good in the college. So this discussion is very, very pertinent. And today's discussion, the topic of discussion was peer pressure. We got so many sharings and so many important insights into this topic. There were 3 or 4 very important points that were raised. And so they all raised very important issues and very sensitive issues, I think, which are so very important. And Sunil Bhaiya, at the end, he talked about resolution. There are so many problems. There are so many issues that we face, students face on day-to-day basis, including the faculty. So the focus should be on resolution. And then very beautifully, he brought about the point of verifying on your own right based on natural acceptance, which will show us the right direction, and we will be able to kind of find resolution to the problem. So this was a beautiful discussion. I think all the faculty, the students, I'm sure would have definitely enjoyed. All the faculty members, I think they would have also related so well to all this discussion. So thank you so much, participants, for joining us. Thank you, Sunil Bhaiya, for the wonderful discussions that you facilitated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you, Didi, for your final summary. And thanks all the participants for your sharing as well as attention. Thank you. We will meet next Wednesday. Thank you. Namaste.